Alright, here we go. This is the special shank I needed for the star grinder to grind this. Well, I'm modifying a grooving insert for a buttress thread for a customer here in Houston. I started machining this, and you notice it's chattering a lot. This chuck needs to be rebored on the jaws, and so it's really just gripping mostly with the master jaws, and these front jaws are not holding it very tightly. In fact, you can see, if you look very carefully here, there's kind of a notch above where it's machining on the OD of the part because it started to pull it out of the chuck, and I had to stop and actually reduce the depth of cut here. I was kind of having a lot of trouble with this. I need to rebore these jaws in this chuck. I mostly use it with soft top jaws, so it's really not a problem usually for this kind of thing, but for this part, that shank was projecting a little bit into the master jaws and causing this problem. This is just a kind of a back and forth adaptive type of what Esprit calls profit milling. It's mostly just rotating the C-axis. The Y-axis stays on 0 in this kind of machining. It just rotates the C and moves the X up and down. So anyway, that's just roughing it, and as you see, it's got some chatter in it. I kind of polished that off with a grinder a little bit after this tool. That's just facing the end because the top notch insert sets at a 3-degree angle actually in the holder. So I didn't have this next tool set up, and you'll notice I put the tool in there and I'm touching it off on the OD of the part for my reference dimension, because the face is at a 3-degree angle now, and I really can't touch any of the tools off on that face now. I might be able to if I tip the B-axis at 3 degrees, but I just did it this way. So this is the pocket for the insert. It's a number 4 top-notch grooving insert is what I'm using to make this threading tool with. Actually, the customer supplied them. All I am is doing is grinding them, but because it's a left-hand insert, I had no way to hold it in my grinder, so I have to make this shank to hold it. So here again, this is like a profit milling cycle, like Esprit calls it, which is kind of like an adaptive cycle, but it can mix everything together into one cycle in Esprit, like slotting, tricotal milling, and pocketing. So I was trying the insert in there. I didn't change that end mill, I just had it in a tool holder already, but it was kind of worn out. When I put the insert in there, it was not really setting in there nicely. I could feel it rocking around, so I decided to change the tool. You can see it there. See, it's not really seating down in the pocket correctly. So I decided to put a new end mill in and recut the finished passes, which is what I'm doing here. I'm just going to put it in there, touch it off, and then just run the finishing cuts. The machine you cannot, with the doors open on this machine, that's as fast as it moves, for probably safety reasons, I guess. So the B-axis, if you just index it like I did there, it goes at that speed. Kind of hard to get. I'm working around the camera here, so it's kind of awkward to do this. So this is a 5/32 end mill. I'm just running the finish cuts again. And I had like about 3 spring passes on the wall, hoping that would make it a little bit square, more square than it was before. And then the insert seems to fit in a lot better. It of course is necessary for the insert to seat properly, or you're not going to grind it properly. Also had to change this tool. I didn't have I needed an 1/8" end mill, and sticking out pretty far because it mills this little slot for the back end of the clamp on the top-notch clamp thing. This is a ER32 heat shrink holder in an ER32 collet chuck. I use quite a few of these. They really work pretty good. I like them. I think it's an Iskar brand, although I think Lindex makes them as well. I forgot to push record on the camera, so you see the slots already in there, but I reran it so you could see what it's doing. So it's just a simple, it's just helixing down in there in that slot. It's basically what it's doing. I was trying the clamp on there, see if it fit all right. So that seems pretty good. Now I have to drill and tap the clamp screw hole. Here, for some reason, I had a peck on this spot drill. I didn't realize it until I ran it. And then the tap drill for it's a 1032 thread. Have to run coolant on that. I was trying to run the rest of the part without coolant so you could see what's happening. And I also have to set up a 1032 tap in this location. I've got these other tools in there from the previous job I was just doing. So I'm going to touch it off. That face there is actually at X0 now, where the insert pockets mill. And here's the tapping a 1032 thread. Try the insert in there, and the clamp and everything. Everything seems to be working fine. It's kind of necessary to have this shank in the star grinder because you can't really hold a big shank like the boring bar that takes this tool would take. You can hold maybe a 1-inch shank, a 3/4 inch shank is better. So that's the finished shank. Now here's the grinding operation. I've already ground a few of them before I recorded this part of the video. You can see it's just a kind of an angle and a flat on the end of the insert. It's a 1/4 inch wide tool flow grooving insert. Number 4 top notch, like I said before. So I just did this grinding. I just did one pass on each cut. So I cut this is a 30-degree angle, and then the other little passes to square off the end of the tool. Pretty simple grinding job, although it kind of took a little bit of setup making the shank and everything. So that's it for the grinding. Here's the insert before it's ground. That's the holder that I made. And there's the insert ground in the grinder. So this is kind of just a typical grinding job I do quite often, this kind of stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching.